We was muted. What's up? What's up, y'all?
Greetings and salutations.
Tube, what's going on? We in
Let's
for an
get it.
eventful night.
Let's get it. Let's
As y'all
get it.
know, the marathon always continues.
What's up, y'all? Greetings and salutations.
What's going on? We in for an eventful night.
Let's get it.
As y'all know, the marathon always continues.
Yeah. Let's get it going, man. Shout out to everybody on the tube. Let me just put the back call out on social media. This is happening right now.
Richard, what's going on? Mercedes, what's up? Alan, what's going on? Charlton, what's up? Kelly, love is love. Y'all know that. Last day of March.
That's a fact, man.
Last one. Been a crazy March.
It's been a crazy year.
Already. First quarter is officially done.
Year's almost over. That's a fact.
They're thinking about Christmas already. Sabrina, what's going on? BX, what's going on? I'll be in the BX very shortly. Got to get my Easter bun.
What up, what up, what up, man? First of all, we said this on Monday, but today, definitely got to say it again, man. Rest in peace to Nipsey Hussle, the legend himself, man. A major, major inspiration to us and others, millions of other people across the world. So today is definitely, one of those days that we have to count our blessings because, no matter how much good you do, sometimes, you can still be taken off this earth. So R.I.P. to Nip, man. Definitely, for sure.
That's a fact.
Alexia, what's going on?
You muted.
Hey guys, good night. How are y'all?
Good, we good. What's going on with you?
Good evening. Nothing much.
Yes. Right on time, man. Congratulations, man. It's been really encouraging to see your growth since the last time that we actually put the episode out. It was crazy because that was like right before Corona, right?
Yes, it was.
We put it out in July, but we had shot it. We shot it in January.
Shot in January.
Yep.
We was in Atlanta, and then we put it out in
Put
July.
it out in the summer, and it's took off like wildfire.
That's a fact.
And the biggest question that a lot of people had was like, well, how is she managing during COVID? Because it was shot before COVID.
Yeah.
During COVID, so it was like, a lot of people had questions of like, how has things changed? How is she doing? Like it was like, I would love to see like how this actually progressed since COVID.
Yeah.
So this is the conversation that we're gonna have. Obviously, the whole world has changed. Since
Absolutely.
Yeah,
for sure, and especially the hospitality industry. Like the hospitality industry probably changed. One of the biggest industries to take a change. But
a lot of change in Airbnb in itself. It wasn't even a public company yet, and now it trades publicly. So that's also another change.
Yeah, for sure. How we sounding out there on YouTube too? Let me know how we sound.
We good?
If we need to turn the volume up, we can. But so yeah, this is something that a lot of people at the beginning of COVID, they said Airbnb was going to be over. A lot of people predicted.
They did.
Yep. They said it's over. It was looking very, very shaky. But yeah, Troy, you can turn the volume up. Yeah. How we sound now?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. Yeah. So at the beginning of COVID, a lot of people said that it was shaky and Airbnb wasn't going to collapse and a lot of hosts wasn't getting paid and it was issues across the board. But I'm on record. I said that I believe in Airbnb. I believe in the concept. And I'm like, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. And
You did say that.
lo and behold, his stock has skyrocketed. Airbnb's back up and running. We personally just booked the Airbnb
just now.
Yeah, that's a fact. So we're back traveling, staying in Airbnbs, things of that nature. And of course, the business model is still there and people are still making money. So
and your blueprint still holds strong, which is important.
Yeah. So this is a conversation that I'm excited to have because we actually thinking about getting into the Airbnb game. Because the thing about it is like we spend a lot of time in these cities, like whether it's Atlanta, whether it's Miami,
for sure.
Los Angeles, and it's like, staying in hotels or staying in other people's Airbnbs, it adds up. So it's like, why not just have somewhere where you can actually rent it out while you're not there, and then when you are there, then you can actually stay. So not only is it not costing you anything, but you actually make money on it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like the whole Toro concept. So this is something that we actually are interested in ourselves. So I'm extremely excited to have this conversation. So
if you see me going like this, it's because I'm typing my notes as you're talking. So I just want to let you know in advance.
Okay, you're good.
yeah.
Guys, we gotta get y'all unit now. Y'all got y'all truck. Now it's time for EYL Airbnb.
That's a
That
fact.
is
That's a fact.
fact.
I like this. I like the sound of that.
I could have said it better,
I like the sound of that. So we're gonna get started. But before we get started, I want to just properly introduce our guest. So Alexia Wright, if you haven't checked her episode out, you definitely need to check the episode out. She was somebody that was introduced to us, and she's like the Airbnb queen of Atlanta. She has over 20 Airbnb units, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes, over 30 now.
Over 30. Okay. Over 30 Airbnb units. She's based out of Atlanta. She's young. 24, 25?
24.
24 years old. Killing the game. And what really impressed me the most about her was the systems that she had in place.
Oh my gosh.
When we interviewed her, she had a lot of systems we'll talk about it, but from cleaning
Incredible.
to all of that stuff to really streamline the process.
She created businesses inside the business.
Right. And how she did it was we'll talk about that as well. But as far as not actually owning the property. So it was something that was interesting to me. And one of these things that it seemed like, Airbnb is a lot hard to get in, but when she broke it down, it's like, it's not really that hard. Like, you just got to have a system in place. You got to have a strategy, know what you're doing, obviously, but it's not something that is like out of the realm of possibility for people to get into. So this is something that I'm definitely interested in having this conversation. So we're gonna jump into it, but before we do, I want to let people know exactly like what happens here. So this is EYL University. So EYL University is our online platform where once a month, every week at Wednesday at 8:00 Eastern Standard Time, we have a class. And that class is different every single week. Some classes is people like, shout out to my man, Andre Hatchett. He's going to teach the next class about modal notary. We've had classes about real estate, wholesaling real estate finance, stocks, how to read charts. So every single week, religiously, we have a different class and it's archived. So it's over 100 past classes that is actually on the platform now. And then it's Zoom. So the teacher presents for about a half an hour, and then students actually get to ask them questions in real time.
Yeah.
So, and then also, with EYL University, we have MG the Mortgage Guy's Home Buyers Blueprint. So that's over 14 hours of everything that you need to know about buying a home from A to Z. That's included. Then I have a financial planning call once a month. So I go over, financial planning topics, answer questions for 2 hours one Saturday every month. We have a movie club. We have a book club, which you're the head of.
Absolutely.
We have a Facebook community, which is over 6,000 people on Facebook. So EYL University is our online educational platform outside of the podcast outside of YouTube. Yeah, for sure. That's more of an in-depth community. That's a better word to call it. Actually, a community.
Yeah. So
once a month, we have what's called open enrollment, where we get to we let people see what's actually goes on inside of EYL University. This is an open enrollment type situation. Open up, you get to have an open intake to what we actually do every single week. And if you're interested, you can sign up. So we'll put the link in there, which is EYLUniversity.com. And all of that for $600 for the year, by the way.
For the year.
Extremely, extremely undervalued.
Shout out to all our earners who made it to 1 year. This is like their 1 year anniversary.
Yeah, for
Shout
sure.
out to y'all.
A lot of people renewed at $99. Yeah, when we first started, it was $99 for the year. And we increased increments of 50 because now we have a staff. Shout out to Janet.
Yeah.
We have, a whole bunch of infrastructure. So it keeps going up, but it keeps going up because we keep expanding. But yeah, everybody that got it for 99
grandfather
kept it. 150 kept it. 200 kept it. So right now 600. April 2nd, I believe we have to raise the price again, but we're giving you a 48-hour notice if you would like to join. So we'll put the link, EYLUniversity.com, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah, so, and then everybody that is signing up right now, and a part of our signing up is we have orientation. And so this Saturday we'll have an orientation. So there's a lot of information on that we have inside the platform. So it helps you navigate your way through. I don't want anyone feeling like, oh, this is overwhelming. Nah, we're going to walk you through the process. So shout out to Janet who hosts our orientation once a month for everybody that's new, all our new earners. So yeah, definitely, we're gonna hold your hand through this process and guide you down the right field, right? So real estate is your thing, we'll take you down that real estate path. If investing is your thing, stock market is your thing, we'll take you down that path. So yeah, we're gonna hold your hand through this process, and welcome to the family.
Yeah, let's do it. So without further ado, let's get this thing going.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Alexia, all right. So the question that everybody has asked is before we even start about how to get started on Airbnb, what are some changes? What are the biggest changes that has taken place as an Airbnb entrepreneur since COVID hit?
So honestly, guys, a lot of people, the Airbnb, let's not get it mistaken. Of course, the hospitality industry took a hit, right? But I can honestly say I have made the most money ever since I've been in this business for 4 years, post-COVID.
Well, you in Atlanta too, though. That's
I am in Atlanta. Atlanta is wide open.
shout out to that.
Atlanta is wide open.
Shout out
So,
to
so the thing is, I only can speak from my experience, right? I have a ton of clients, and like you guys speak about my systems, as long as my clients use my systems, they're fine. So during COVID, of course, March, April, and like the middle of May, it really only lasted in Atlanta for about 2.5 months, maybe 3. And it was bad. It was really bad. But now, post-COVID, y'all, I went through a lot during COVID. I had units where the occupancy was at 95% and it dropped to 10%. So at that point in time, what I had to think was, okay, Lexi, this isn't about your Airbnb business. The world is messed up. So I almost just had to take a hit with the world. I've seen businesses in Atlanta, y'all, that has been up and running for over 20 years gone within 6 months. And the way I look at it is, if you've been in business for this amount of time, there's no way why 3 months should wipe your business. That's my mentality anyway. So I live every day by, if I cannot live for at least a year from today, then I'm not doing something right with my finances. So I was able to sustain during those COVID months. Of course, anybody wants to continue making the same amount of money, but I had to take a mental step back and say, okay, this is what's here. You have to face this. Are you going to hold up, or are you going to fold up? That was my battle. And of course, God is always on my side. That was my go-to. Like I wasn't worried about nothing. Okay, so post-COVID, after May, like the middle of May, it started to pick back up and it was booming. So those systems that we talked about in January, it was like I came up with 10,000 more systems. There were other mistakes that had been made. I just know that during COVID, like I didn't have an answer for even my EYO audience. I didn't have an answer for them because I was going through the same thing too. And one thing about me, I only speak from my experience. I'm not gonna tell people to do things I'm not even doing. It was almost like, guys, we're going through this. We got to make it through this storm until it picks back up. And whatever city you're in, that was my thing to my clients or my mentees in other cities. Like, we just got to get through this COVID situation. You know what I mean? So just to answer that question, because I even seen that a lot when my episode dropped, people were like, oh, Airbnb is done. The industry is over. And, she'll never come back from this. And I'm like, all right. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, you know what I mean? But it was difficult. Believe it or not, it was difficult. But I honestly don't have an answer onto how did you do it. I was patient. I've seen COVID wipe out different hosts. You know what I mean? I'm friends with a lot of different Airbnb hosts, and I've seen COVID wipe it out. But that was only because they were not doing the right things with their finances when they were making it. Because you can make good money in this industry. There's units I have clients making $8,000 off of, $7,000 off of monthly, and only have $2,000-$3,000 worth of expenses. So on average, you're profiting $4,000 a month.
No, that's that you bring up a good point. This is something we're gonna get to, like the nitty gritty in Airbnb, but this is just general business advice for anybody that's running a business. And it's like, yeah, when it hit, it's like people asking, like, well, what are you gonna do about? I don't know. It's a global pandemic. The last time we seen this was, who knows what's going? I don't know what to do.
Go figure it out.
It's the coronavirus.
Yeah.
It's not like it's the regular like hurricane or something like this. Like nobody knows what to do. If we knew what to do, it wouldn't be a global pandemic that hits once every 100 years. And then you said, as far as you actually understanding that you have to keep money in reserves.
Absolutely.
When you have good times, you got to prepare for bad times. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that helps you, because it's like, all right, now nobody's like, leasing your properties. Now you still got to pay the bills on it, but those good times as far as cash reserves held you over. So I just want to just highlight that even before we get into the nitty gritty, because that's just general business advice that we've spoke about for a long time.
I'm doing good, but I'm ready for bed.
When the plane is riding high, eventually it's going to come back down, even if it goes back up again. So prepare for the plane to come down. And sometimes you just have to figure it out. And like you said, it's better not to speak. And that's why I'm glad we did this conversation now, like instead of doing it in the middle of COVID, because it's like you can't really speak about something that you don't know. Like you didn't figure it out yet. You still going through it yourself. So now it's like, all right, now it's been months and you're still successful, you're still up and running. So now we can have this conversation.
Absolutely.
All right. So listing. Let's start at the beginning of the situation. How do you, all right, I want to get started in Airbnb right now in 2021, right?
Yeah.
I have a cell phone and that's it.
And aspirations.
Yeah, a cell phone and a couple $1,000. What's my first thing that I do? I guess the first thing I do is secure a place to actually Airbnb, right?
Yeah. Step number one.
So what's the process with that? How do I do that?
So first, I get this a lot. Do I have to have an LLC and EIN established before I can start an Airbnb? Now, this will only depend on how you choose to get into the industry. So we see a lot, right? You can become an Airbnb host without owning any real estate. That's absolutely true. But there's a few different ways you can get into the industry, and it doesn't have to be through an LLC and EIN. So that's number one, question answer. You do not have to have an LLC to become an Airbnb host. All right. Now, one thing I do for my clients is I tell them it's not bad to get a LLC. So you're just better off paying the $100, $200, go ahead and getting established and getting your EIN and setting up your banking account and rolling with it. That way, you have this corporate housing thing to where you can get corporate leasing and you can go into an apartment building and get 2 and 3 apartments in one building with this LLC and EIN that you have. But the thing to that is you got to have most apartments require to have at least a year to 2 years of Dun & Bradstreet history. So Dun & Bradstreet is basically your business credit. So as consumers, we have Equifax, we have Experian, and we have TransUnion. That's for our personal, ourselves, our socials, right? For your business and your EIN, you have a Dun & Bradstreet number. Most of them require for you to have something built on that Dun & Bradstreet number. Now, I've seen apartment communities or, landlords that allow you to get an Airbnb where you might have 4 or 5 months of history on your Dun & Bradstreet. It really just depends on where you go to. So I do want to answer that question first. Do I have to have an LLC or EIN to get started in the Airbnb business? No, you don't have to. Do I suggest it as an Airbnb expert? Yes, I do. It doesn't hurt. You know what I mean? It doesn't hurt. If I would have gotten an LLC when I first started, y'all, I would be so much further now. So I was 2 years down the line and still having to wait to build my LLC and EIN in order to even become a corporate housing company. So I do suggest that. So different ways to get into the industry. You can become a co-host. So basically what a co-host is Rashad and Troy have their apartment. Rashad and Troy have their apartment in Atlanta or Miami, but they're in LA for their podcast for the month. Y'all are not there. Somebody has to run this property. Somebody has to communicate with the guests. Somebody has to make sure housekeeping gets done. Somebody has to make sure communication with the guests gets done. Inventory is stocked. Somebody has to make sure all that stuff is done. So that is considered being a co-host. Also might be known as a property manager. So I have a property management company, and basically my property manager is my co-host, right?
How does that work? So if I'm a co-host, do I get to have the same rating as my fellow partner when I'm getting rated?
So you don't get rated as a co-host. Okay. So you don't get rated as a person. Your property gets rated. Gotcha. So if you had a listing, that listing gets rated, not you as a person. So my business profile doesn't get rated. My listings do.
Gotcha.
Okay. So becoming a co-host, basically what it is you get your email address. Remember I explained it in my in the first interview. You have an email, and Rashad and Troy add, if I was the co-host, they would add my email on Airbnb under your booking settings on the platform as a co-host. So now, what does a co-host include? That could be explained between however you like to do it in the co-host. So different co-hosts do different things, and the average percentage for a co-host profit is about 15 to 20%. All right, so co-hosting could be, like I said, restocking inventory, making sure the housekeeping gets done, communicating with the guest, making sure that just the property is maintained well. Most of my clients, 85% of them are out of state. So as a co-host, they're basically not doing anything. And that's what makes the business passive. Your co-host or you being a co-host is what makes the Airbnb business passive. Y'all following me?
Got you.
All right, so we got the co-host. We could go into corporate leasing. So we just talked about the Dun & Bradstreet number. Corporate leasing could be something simple as, like I said, having 2 years of Dun & Bradstreet history built. And I see someone said in the chat, it's free. Yes, your Dun & Bradstreet number is free. And typically what people do is, once you have your corporate lease, most buildings allow you to have a corporate lease and you can negotiate rent prices. So with my corporate lease, I might have, well, with my Dun & Bradstreet number, my EIN and my LLC, I might go into the apartment. There might be 3 apartments that's available. They each might be $2,000 rent a piece, right? I can go and negotiate to get those 3 properties up under my business for $1,200 or $1,300 a piece because I'm getting 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you got corporate leasing, right? You
so
have
really quickly in the midst of COVID, did you see leasing the prices go down? Because I know a lot of people were trying to find tenants and they couldn't. And so was that something you used to your advantage?
Yes, but the thing about it is you're getting that and then people are not traveling. So you're still risking coming out of pocket to pay rent. So that wasn't a good move. Okay. Of course, for someone, it's easy. Like this is, for some hosts, it's someone's full-time job. Like this is how they pay their bills. Luckily, I had other sources of income, which y'all talk about often. Having one is too close to having 0 to having none. So those other sources of income for me also helped me sustain. So the reason why I say that is because as an Airbnb host, and this is all that you're doing, it's not going to click in your mind to, oh, let me go get 5 apartments because the rent is only $1,000. Yeah, but nobody's traveling. So you're going to risk paying $5,000 a month for the rent versus another person will probably think long-term, like, okay, the world will open back up soon one day. But when? Some cities are still closed. Some cities are still not open. Miami's still on curfew. I heard LA still has its curfew. So imagine still having to, you know what I mean, pay those rents out of pocket. So yeah, the rents went down, but people were not traveling. So you're still not making money.
Yeah. Valid. And okay. And also it's important to understand obviously that Airbnb is one of these things where it's not like a blanket for every place in America because each state has different even cities have different policies for Airbnb. So it's important to know your rules and this is general information, but know your rules for where you live. But Atlanta is one of these places that probably is the best place to have an Airbnb in America right now because it's one of the only cities in America that's fully open. Yeah. And it has become a tourist destination for a variety of different reasons. People are flocking to Atlanta. Absolutely. I noticed from firsthand experience because we spend a lot of time in Atlanta, and every time I go to Atlanta, every restaurant is full, every bar is full, every hookah lounge full. Yeah. Clubs are full. You would think that there was no pandemic at all. So I say that to say, if your city or your state is not Airbnb friendly, then there's no law that says that you can't set up an Airbnb out of state. Yeah, or city too, right? And we know like city like Houston. I see somebody just put H-Town. Texas is a state that's wide open right now, so I could imagine what Houston's Airbnb situation is looking like. So you got to know where you live and understand the rules, like you said. Yeah. Okay.
Also with the rules too, not only with knowing your city, all cities are not for Airbnb.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly.
So people are like, hey, Alexia, I'm in the middle of Mississippi. I'm like, okay. Nobody's like, oh, we're going to Mississippi for the weekend. Nobody's doing that. So I also want people to understand their market too. I live in Atlanta. I've lived here all my life. So I only know the booming cities. Those cities that are not really booming, I can't really tell the market unless I go look into, I would have to go research that city. So I'm not saying that Airbnb can't be done everywhere. It can be done everywhere. But what I don't suggest is a city that's not lit or a city that's not where a lot of people travel to. I don't suggest like, oh, I'm going to get an Airbnb here or I'm making this investment. Most people in those kind of cities, they already have a house or something, or they might rent out their private guest home and the guest home might pay its mortgage on the real home. You know what I mean? Or they might have a house, they might be moving out of state and don't want to let the house go. So they'll put it up for Airbnb, but it might be paid off. So it could be any of those scenarios. So also with knowing your city, also know if you wouldn't, like, would you travel to your city to have fun? Like you gotta think about that too.
Respectfully speaking. No, that's a fact. It's common sense. Some places, if you in Anchorage, Alaska, Anchorage is actually a tourist destination. I take that back. I don't even want to say the city because I don't
I
want to.
actually just had a client in Anchorage, and we were just discussing if it was a good place. And actually, she told me no.
Well, Anchorage has, that's a different story. All right, so let's get into this. All right, so okay, you find a property, you know about that, right? You find a property and you want to list it on Airbnb, right? So you got the corporate lease under the LLC. Now the next step is actually listing the property on Airbnb. What's the process for that?
Okay, first, let me tell you one more way, because this is a lot of people's biggest question is actually obtaining the property. So you can also become an actual Airbnb host too. So say Rashad and Troy, remember, say you guys had a 5-bedroom home, right? You might have this, you can rent your upstairs on Airbnb and you can live in your downstairs. Or you can rent out your downstairs and live in your upstairs. Or you might have a private guest home that's that's in the backyard and you might want to rent that out on Airbnb. So you can either do that as a private room or you can do a shared space. So with the private room, you can have it to where you might have 3 rooms upstairs. You can rent out each of those 3 rooms, just like a hotel, right? So in a hotel, it's different hallways and you have rooms that are next to each other. So in this same house, you might have 3 different rooms. So you can rent out to 3 different people. It might be $50, it might be $75 a night. Versus you can rent up the whole entire upstairs. It has a kitchen, it has a bathroom, and it has how many ever rooms that it might have. You could do that. I have clients where their basement literally pays for the whole entire home.
No, that's right? Something that I wasn't even aware of that until I met somebody and they was living in Brooklyn, and they was renting out a room, Airbnb. Because in New York City, a lot of times, the rent is high, things of that nature. So they lived in one, but they had a long-term tenant, like month by month. It was an international person that came in, and there was Airbnb and from month to month, and you can Airbnb rooms. You don't have to Airbnb your whole spot. So
get rooms.
Yeah, I've seen it happen before.
That's the origin of the story, of their story, right?
Exactly, it is. Yeah.
They started out with the room in San Francisco and turned it into a full-fledged business.
Yeah. Okay. So all right. So now what's the process to actually get it listed on Airbnb?
So before we get listed, we got to get photos taken.
Yeah.
It's extremely important to have a real estate photographer. Please do not go take pictures with your iPhone, the baby's iPad, the baby's iPhone. You need a real estate photographer. So I'm going to give you 2 websites where you can get a real estate photographer. You got imoto.com. It's IMOTO.com. Or you can go to Houzz, HOUZZ.com. All right. So those are 2 different places you can find real estate photographers. Really great resources. But that is extremely important. The thing is, when it comes to listing, is your main contact photo is going to be the main contact to your listing. So the more clicks your listing get, the higher you will appear in the algorithm. And the reason why I say that is because if your main contact photo looks appealing, people are going to click on it. Yeah. So I might have this brightened up room on one listing might have this bright room, and then one listing might have just a dull, dark room. You know how some iPhone pictures take, right?
Yeah.
Those are going to look completely different. Real estate photographers get an aerial view of the actual room. So if I'm standing in a corner, the real estate photographer is going to get right next to me. Versus if I'm standing here with my iPhone, it's going to look totally different from the camera, right? On the photo. So I really suggest getting a real estate photographer. Typically they run about $150 to $200, and you only need about 20 to 25 photos. Okay, you only need 20 to 25 photos. So once we got our photos, what I do is I set up Google accounts. And with the Google account, basically you will go into Airbnb and sign up as a host. It's so simple. Your first name, your last name. They do ask for the last 4 of your social, and they do ask for your birthday. So now what I've found is along the way with having a criminal record, they'll allow you to sign up, but they'll like shut down your profile once they catch on to it. I found that happen a lot of times, and that's a good tip that I like people to know, because I don't want them to get to having 3 and 4 listings and then the listings vanish because Airbnb shuts their profile down. So they have had this thing to where they're like making it to where they're catching criminal, like if you have a criminal record or a criminal background, right? So I do want to let that be known. So literally your first name, your last name, your email, a profile photo. If you're setting it up as a business, the best thing to do is put so if it's EYL University, the first name will be EYL, the last name will be University. It's simple. Mm-hmm. So if that's EYO Suites. The first name would be EYO. The last name would be Suites. Right?
Gotcha. Yep.
So the thing about that is when you're initially signing up, you have to sign up with Rashad or Troy last name. Once you get in and they get you verified with your birthday and your last word of your social, then you can go change your name on your profile. But you got to get verified first, because what they're going to say is, this birthday and the last word of their social doesn't match EYL. Like, is EYL even a person? You follow me?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you got to make sure that you put your first and last name when you're first signing up. And then once you get in and you get your profile, it's going to say success. You're an Airbnb host. And then you can go to your profile, to your account settings, and change your first and last name to whatever your business name, whatever you like for it to be.
Perfect. So we got to take the right pictures because we got to get more clicks. More clicks helps the algorithm. It pushes our host up, our home up further, and then we get more people booking. Right. So now that we got the pictures up and we got it listed, how do we price this thing appropriately? Right. Because we want to have people come. We want to make it affordable. We want to make money. How do we price our listing appropriately?
Yeah. So pricing is important, right? So the thing I tell people about pricing is that's the fun part to becoming an Airbnb host is, oh, I can charge $300 a night and I'm a new host and I have no reviews. Absolutely no, you cannot. All right. So you can have the finest unit in the city. It could be lit. It could be beautiful. But if you don't have any reviews, it's going to be difficult for people are not going to book you. So you competing with people like me who got over 500 reviews, over 300 reviews, or people who have hosts of over 200 reviews. And we might be listed at $250 a night. And my unit might be available and your new unit might be available too. Guess which unit they're going to go with? They're going to book mine before they book yours. So I said that to say when you're pricing and you have no reviews, you have to start off low. And once you get those reviews, those 5-star reviews, then you can work your way up. So let's talk one bed, one bath, because it's easy to crunch those numbers, right? Mm-hmm. One bed, one bath. Number one, you got to think about your location. That's extremely important when it comes to pricing. I can charge a completely different nightly price in Miami than I can charge in Atlanta. All right, I have units in Miami where my clients are charging $1,500 a night for one bed, one bath, or I think it's a 1 bed and 1.5 bath, and it's off the waterfront, right off Biscayne. $1,500 a night. There is no way I could charge $1,500 a night for a unit here, especially if it's not a theme or nothing. You know what I mean? For a regular, typical 1 bed, 1 bath, there's no way I could charge $1,500 a night. So location is important. Where are you located? Now, when it comes to setting your pricing, what you want to do is you want to go take a look at what other hosts in your area have their units listed at. Because now you also have to come in with your cleaning price. Mm-hmm. So you don't want to have a cleaning fee of $200 and then all of your competition is at $85. So once this total comes up, once this guest total comes up when they get ready to book your listing, you're going to be $100 over, $115 over than what everybody else is charging. You following me? Gotcha. So pricing, you can make sure you know what's around your unit, the attractions. Maybe if it's a huge baseball park that people go to, maybe a football stadium. Is it a bunch of restaurants? Are there malls around it? Grocery stores, liquor stores, gas stations? What's around your unit? All right. And there's a bunch of different platforms out here that can assist you with getting your pricing done. Like someone said something about AirDNA. And I hear about a lot of these platforms, guys, but honestly, I don't use them. I am those systems. That's the way I look at it. All right. I don't use any of those platform softwares because I've just gotten to the point to where my system works for me. All right. But for other hosts, there's different websites like Guesty, Guesty, Guesty.com. Your Porter is really great. AirDNA, I find is really great for pricing too. So starting off, you just got to make sure you start off lower than what your competition is at, just so people can book you. People will risk spending low with no reviews, and they will risk spending high with no reviews. So by the time you get to the point where you have 5-star reviews, then you can go up. So if I start at $99 in Atlanta for a 1 bed, 1 bath, and my cleaning fee is $85, or my cleaning fee is $75, by the time I get 5-star reviews, I can go up to $120 or $130. And 5-star reviews might take me 30 to 45 days.
Got you. So you got to set the bar low, get some income, get some people reviewing it, and then we can start playing the game, right? So we're not going to take profit right away. We got to steady ourselves.
There's a lot of information. I hope you guys are paying attention. Alexa, is it possible that you can slow down a little bit? I see some people saying like she's talking pretty fast. So
Yes, I can slow down.
I appreciate that. So let me ask you this: as far as screening guests, how does that work?
So screening. So there's 4 things are required when it comes to screening. All right, that's an email address, profile photo, email address, profile photo, phone number, and a government issued ID.
Okay.
All right, government issued ID, profile photo, email address, and phone number. As long as those guests have those 4 things uploaded on their profile, they can book. And they can instantly book. Now, instant booking is different. The thing about instant booking is, as long as that guest has those four things uploaded on their profile, they can book me instantly, which means I don't have to accept or decline the request. It'll automatically go through. Versus if they don't have all 4 of those things listed on their profile, it'll come through as a request, and that notifies me as a host, like, hey, this guest is missing something. So then I would go tell them, hello, can you update either your profile photo or your email address to your profile to confirm your booking. All right. So that's a way that I avoid like parties. It's a way I avoid not really strangers, but people that will come trash your unit, people that are not fit for, how your unit should look. That's the way I do it. I'll make sure I use those 4 things.
And then also, like even for me personally, people have asked me like, what are you planning on doing while you're out here? Like, not like on some like, but like we have no guest policies or you can't have any, like, what I'm saying?
No
so it's
music
like
after 10.
If they do that, then they're in violation. So if you aren't trying to have parties at your Airbnb, I guess that's one way to go about it as well, right?
So the thing with that is those rules, people have their own rules. As an Airbnb host, you can literally say, if you say no talking after 10, like people really have those kind of rules on their platform, on their listings. At the end of the day, you cannot control what adults do. All right, you can only manage, and that comes with like either having a ring light, a ring camera on the door when it comes to not having extra guests. But what other way? Well, you can tell people don't have extra guests. If you do find out they have extra guests, you can charge them, but you got to have proof.
Okay.
All right.
So the algorithm, people don't even know everything has an algorithm. YouTube has an algorithm, Instagram has an algorithm, Twitter has an algorithm, and Airbnb has an algorithm. So when you type in staying from April 1st to April 7th in Miami, and the first 6 listings pop up, it's not just done randomly. Those people are at the top of the algorithm. A lot of people are not aware of that. How do you boost your rankings in the algorithm and get to the top?
So the thing with Airbnb is, guys, they don't tell you how to get in the algorithm. They actually have a link article out that says, the thing about it is if they could say do ABC to get in the algorithm,
everybody would do it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I find that you got to make sure your pricing is right. You got to make sure the pricing is right. Is your cleaning fee set right? Do you have proper discount set? Some people don't do discounts, some do. How are your photos looking? So Airbnb will tell you, update your photos this way, making sure a caption is on all of your photos, making sure you have a description for Airbnb has different boxes. So they might have description, they might have your space, guest access, guest interaction. Everything needs to be filled out. Every single box when you're listing your Airbnb, your property should be filled out. Or Airbnb will come back and tell you once you're done getting published, they'll say something's missing, or go update this, or go do this. They'll tell you what you need to do. Now, what they say is they'll say, go set a 10% discount for guests that are staying 30 days or longer. You can do that. It's up to you. It's your discretion. It's totally up to you. Personally, I don't do that here in Atlanta because I don't like long-term stays. So I'm not going to entice you to book longer. So I don't do those discounts. But those are a few things that do go into the algorithm. Pricing is extremely heavy when it comes to being in the algorithm, because you got to make sure, like I said, you got to make sure you're competing with your competition. That's the goal, to compete with your competition. If you're not competing with them, nobody's going to see you. So like you said, if we're traveling out of town, We don't want to click 30 pages before we get to the actual place you want to stay at. We might go 3 or 4 pages max. So if you get listed and you make this investment and you're on the 25th page, nobody's even seeing you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So algorithm is really important. But like I said, Airbnb doesn't say do ABC to get in the algorithm. They don't tell you.
Yeah. So if I got the right pictures, right? I posted my home for listing. What are some things I can do inside of my home to separate what I'm doing from the next person, right? We could be having an Airbnb in the same building, but what can I do inside of my home to make it different, to make it more appealing so that more people come?
Having clean decorations. You need to make sure you have a pot set. It doesn't have to be, I told her last time, it doesn't have to be like a Martha Stewart pot set. It doesn't have to be a Macy's pot set.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to make sure you have something for people to cook. Silverware set. These are things people miss. You know, it's things that we have in our home, but it's like, oh, this guest is going to be coming right in and leaving right back out. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? If maybe the husband wants to wake up and cook breakfast for the wife, he should be able to do so. All right? Having a Keurig. And the reason why I say Keurig, or even having like a K-pot coffee maker, not the coffee maker from 1930 that you got to put the beans in. That takes all day, right? You want to put the K-pot in, 2 minutes and go. So that's another thing. Pillows. I found the pillows are huge. Fluffing your pillows maybe having 10 pillows on the sofa and 5 on the bed. When I say pillows, I mean like if the room is white and the accent pillows might be blue and gold, or accent pillows might be olive green and yellow. You know what I mean? So having those pillows really brings out the photos. Having wall pictures, making sure your TV is mounted, having throw blankets, making sure you have shower amenities, lotion, travel size shampoo, travel size conditioner, and soap, bar soap, travel size. Those are the things that are going to make people feel comfy. Now, since COVID, I really haven't been doing robes and bath slippers, but I'm going to get back into it maybe the summertime. But since COVID, I haven't been doing them. But those are even things that also make your guests feel comfortable. Leaving thank you notes. So for each reservation that I have, each guest, every time housekeeping leaves out, they're writing a note. Thank you. Thanks for staying, or thanks for booking. Hope to host you again, or something like that. You know what I mean? Leaving a bottle of wine, leaving 2 bottles of complimentary water, those kind of things. So the thing with the hotels is, yeah, they're going to stock the fridge up, but each drink is going to be $10. And it's going to come off your bill when you get ready to check out. So I'll make sure my guests know this is complimentary. We might leave it on the counter beside, like we might do a bottle of water and a thank you note. Or we might leave a bottle of water in the fridge. So those are some things that I do to kind of set my listings apart. And it helps with reviews too. So the more reviews you're getting, after housekeeping, reviews is the most essential thing to your business.
Yeah.
After I would say reviews is first. Your reviews is first. Housekeeping is next. But as long as your unit is clean and neat and it's up to this standard, you can get great reviews.
Yeah, and I was saying that was one of the things that you expressed, and I hope you can do that again tonight. It sounds like these things are expensive, but buying these things in bulk and having a team and a system in place to put these things out, right? Can you talk about that a little bit?
So buying them in bulk could be from Amazon. So right now I'm actually working on my own line of hospitality items. So my own soap line, my own conditioner, my own travel amenities, right? Even my own sheet sets, my own pillowcases, my own duvet comforters, duvet covers, comforters, all this stuff with my name on it. So I've gotten to the point where now my volume is, I can do that now. You know what I mean? So before it would be easy to go into Target and get a $20 sheet set. So personally, I only use white linen, right? I tell people, like, think about going to sleep in a place and you got brown sheets, or you got red sheets, or, yellow sheets. Like, it's weird. Hotels only use white linen, and that's what our competition is. White looks luxury, it looks clean, it looks neat, it looks better. So it's easy to go in Target and get a sheet set or a comforter. But think about, this has to be maintenance, it has to be maintained. People leave makeup on the sheets, you got to change them out. Dark spots get on them. You got to change it out. You got to fix it. So that's why some hosts take the easy route, and they'll go get black sheets, or go get red sheets, or go get, a color sheet, because you can't really see those marks or those stains.
What you just said, that was an eye-opening moment for me, because I'm on Airbnb a lot, And whenever I see somebody, it looks like your grandmother with floral comforters, I automatically get turned off from that because I feel like I'm staying in somebody's house.
Yeah.
Psychologically, I never realized that we are trained to, you go to a hotel, it's white sheets, white comforter, everything white. So when I see a bed with white sheets and a white comforter, it makes me feel a lot more comfortable. When I see, and I never even thought about that. But psychologically, I'm trained to think that if somebody has floral or pink or red or something, a color, I'm thinking that's somebody's house. So
Right.
I don't want to psychologically, I don't want to sleep in somebody's bed.
Yeah.
But I have no problem sleeping in a hotel bed. So when it's white, I view the Airbnb like a hotel.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's not to look like a hotel, guys. That's not it. It's just that's who our competition is. Besides hotels, what's next? Airbnb, right? That's just who our competition is. So I don't want to say like this is what hotels do, so do it. It's just you don't want to feel like how you said that you feel like I'm about to go sleep at somebody's house. So back to your question, like with buying it. Go ahead, Troy. I'm sorry.
No, I don't want people to miss the part where you just talked about the business that you created inside of your own Airbnb with your own sheet and your own pillows. Like that is something, again, scaling from within your own business. That's just a brilliant idea. So again,
Absolutely.
these are things that we should be applying, right? And like, don't let this go over your head.
And I haven't even told anybody. I haven't told Instagram. I haven't said anything. I'm just the type of person. I'll wait till I'm done with it and maybe like ready to release it to tell everybody. So you guys are the first to even know that I'll be coming out with that line, and people will be able to purchase it too, like use it for their units. And I'll make sure, like I made it to where it was reasonable for other hosts to purchase for their units, whether they want to buy it in bulk or not. You know what I mean? I ordered tons of it. So I just find it to be financially it's better for me. And then I can help other people too. Like people don't think about using white linen. So they're like, if they come to my page and they see this is what I'm using, they can use the same exact thing that I'm using. And it's easier, right? So I just find that I'm really excited about it. It's called Wright Luxe Essentials. I'm extremely excited about it because it took me a while. I've been working on it for a little minute now. But it's something that not only help me, but help other hosts too. So whether that's buying it in bulk, but until then, different websites like Amazon is really good for buying things in bulk. Walmart, it's not really in bulk, but you can get a lot for your dollar at Walmart. But most of the things that I was ordering, guys, really came off Amazon.
Can you talk about the importance of furniture? Because I remember when you came to do your episode and you looked, and we were staying in Atlanta at the time, you looked and said, nah, the furniture is not right in here. And I see some people on YouTube and some of the earners are asking, what about furniture? Are we hiring an interior decorator? Where are we getting the furniture from to furnish our place?
So I have my own interior designers. So actually, I don't even be in that building anymore. So one thing that I suggest is, let me tell you what not to do. I do not suggest going to Rooms to Go or Ashley Home Furniture Store, getting a line of credit. Don't do that. But you can go to your local furniture stores. There's different local furniture stores that are a lot cheaper than Rooms to Go in, those large corporations. You have websites like OfferUp is really great. Facebook Marketplace is even a really great place to get furniture. And Let Go. So you got OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, and Let Go. They're really great places to get furniture. When I first started, I would literally furnish the whole entire apartment off of Facebook Marketplace and OfferUp. So those are really great websites to go to.
Yeah, and I think it should always be, my personal opinion, it should be spaced out. You don't want to have it too cluttered. You want it to kind of feel like home, but you don't want it to feel like home. You want it to feel like, where it's like it's a nice middle ground. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you don't have to do too much.
Yeah.
You don't have to do too
Simplicity.
much. Yeah, simplicity always wins.
I like the simplicity with a modern touch. With a modern
clean,
touch.
and neat.
I want to go to questions.
That's a look that I definitely go for, clean and neat.
I want to go to questions, but before, I just have one last question because you definitely are integrated vertically. And that was one of the things that really impressed me when we met you, when we interviewed you the first time. You spoke about even like the cleaners, using the cleaners. Can you explain that?
So when we had our last interview, right, and I'm going to be extremely transparent here. I'm going to tell you guys, starting off as Airbnb host, housekeepers will make or break your business. All right. Housekeeping oh, I don't want to cry. Housekeeping will make or break your business. I literally fired my whole entire team in the middle of the pandemic. All right. There was times where if I had like 10 checkouts in a day and I might have 6 check-ins back into those same units that were checked out, housekeeping had to be done. So you got things like, so average check-in time for Airbnb is 3 p.m., right? Average checkout time is 11 a.m. So between 11 and 3, I got 5 properties that must be clean because I got check-ins to be done. All right. So at that point in time, once I realized the volume, I was like, okay, something has to be done here. This is not working. There was times I had to cancel reservations, and that's a huge no-no on Airbnb. Huge no-no on Airbnb. Canceling is you just don't do it. It'll mess up your superhost status, and you'll risk getting your profile shut down or getting your listing suspended for canceling too much. So there'll be times where the units weren't clean how they were supposed to be clean. The throw blankets weren't being washed. The rugs in the units weren't being washed. They would take 2 or 3 hours in one unit. And those systems that I use now is what has stopped that. So before, what I was doing was I would leave a bin. This was before I got in the field. And I actually, at this time, I was in college. I was a junior in college, becoming a senior. I was about to graduate soon. So I wasn't really focused on my business, y'all. I was focused on graduating because I was almost there. I was like, there's no way I can quit. In 2019, I hit my $1 million mark. That was an easy way to just get out the game, where like I'm done with college, but I just couldn't do that. So at that point in time, I had no systems in place. I just was hiring different people to clean these Airbnbs that I had, but there were no systems. So nothing was running automated, right? So what I would do is I would keep a bin inside the units. I would order a bin off Walmart. Order the bin off Walmart. I would put a linen set. So that would be a fitted sheet, a flat sheet, 4 pillowcases, 2 towels, 4 washcloths, a hand towel, and a makeup towel. That's what will be included in the bin. So that way, when the housekeepers were going to housekeep the unit to clean it up, they would go inside the bin that's locked and use this linen that's in the bin for the next reservation. This was a second system that I've come up with. Now, before I started doing that, they would have to strip the beds off and wash the linen inside the units. So I went from the housekeepers washing the linen inside the units to, okay, now I got to figure out something else because this is taking too long. Washing and drying inside the unit takes way too long. All right. I had to make it to where that was quicker. So I started with the bins. Okay. So I'll leave an extra set in the bins. That way they can just take the dirty stuff with them. And then the clean stuff will be inside the bin. But then I ran into a problem. Who's going to clean the dirty stuff? Or how is the dirty and the clean going to go into rotation? So then I got into the system of I hired a laundry runner. Now I have an actual laundry runner that makes like $2,500, $3,000 a month just off doing laundry. I'm doing all of my linen. So now this laundry runner, the housekeepers will take all the dirty stuff and they'll take the clean stuff with them in sealed Ziploc bags. And it's the vacuum seal bag. So you can.
Oh yeah.
The large size ones, yeah,
Yep,
and you
yep.
can.
Yep.
And then another thing is I use duvets now. So we're not having to, the housekeepers are not having to haul all this, this heavyweight linen. So the duvet is the comforter slips inside the duvet. And if the duvets, we change the duvets every time, but we don't change the comforters every reservation. We do check them to make sure, things do get on, they'll leak through or, different things like spots will get on the comforters. We'll change it then. So there's been a ton of different ways. And I'm actually, y'all, I still get in the field. If some of you watch my Instagram, you guys see that I still get out and I still clean with my housekeepers, because there was a point in time where I had no time for this business. I had lost my love for the business. So I really didn't care what went on. I had someone we were both in college. She was basically running my whole entire business. And I was just focused on graduating, and I had become a single mom. So I just wasn't there. I just didn't have it. So now I'm confident enough to tell people there's really nothing nobody could tell me about this short-term rental industry, because I've really been through the storm. If there's a problem, I have a solution. There's an Excel sheet, guys, that I have that has a ton of different problems. And I promise you, the problem that any of you might be having will be on there. So for every problem, I have a solution for every problem. So housekeeping had become the biggest downfall to my business. And I told y'all this in January. I said housekeeping has been the biggest. And now it's awesome. It's amazing. It's great. These systems that I've come up with, they're in my course. Like I can't wait for you guys to see them. They're top notch. Like you just can't not be successful with using them. And I found all this out during COVID, y'all. Between March and now.
That's a fact. So we're gonna go to questions. But before that, I just want to just take a break for a minute because we definitely so first of all, before we go to questions, definitely. So this is something like Airbnb, right? There's no college that you can go to learn about Airbnb,
Right.
and there's a bunch of different industries. Pick one: Uber, Turo. You know, there's so many different stuff that we cover on Earn Your Leisure where I don't know if people have a full appreciation of, you know, this is something that is not provided. Like you have to just figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
Watch a million YouTube videos, or you can, you know, have a certain level of education that can help you. But you know, traditionally it's like, all right, if I want to be a doctor, I know I can study pre-med, I can go to Johns Hopkins and I can pay $300,000 and somebody can teach me to be a surgeon. And now I can have a career with being a surgeon. But now there's all these alternative ways to make a living, whether it's a podcaster, whether it's an Airbnb host, whether it's a Turo, whether it's whatever, you pick it, you name it. And self-education is the only thing that will save you in today's economy. The government will not save you, and formal education will not save you either. And I know that because I'm a product of that. I have a communications degree. If I wasn't an entrepreneur and I was out here trying to get a job with a communications degree from a state college,
Good luck.
It would be wait in line and good luck.
Good
You know
luck.
what I'm saying? I might be able to figure something out for, you know, bare minimum situation. I might not. And that's just the reality. And this is things that we see with a lot of people that, you know, are from our environment. We grew up with friends, family, and it's an unfortunate situation. So self-education is the only thing that will save you at this point in time. And it's extremely important to understand that. And also to, you know, have a high level of respect for people that take their time to provide information.
Exactly.
That's just a fact. So I just wanted to get that out there. So we're going to go into the second half of this conversation. And the second half of this conversation is, so with EYL University, part of it is that, you know, people get to actually ask questions. So it's interactive. So unlike the podcast where you listen to a podcast and, you know, somebody just provides information for an hour, this is actually, you know, it's a real classroom setting. So it's like, you know, virtually people get to ask questions. And that's the biggest thing that people always have questions and they DM people, but it's not that people aren't answering your DMs on purpose. They just have 1,000 DMs and it's overwhelming. So we're going to talk about Alexia's, she actually has a course where she teaches this stuff in detail. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But first I want to go to questions and also remind you guys, this is an example. This is just an example of what we do every single week at EYL University. We build great relationships with people. So everybody that we ask to come on has never been a problem, not one time with anybody that we've asked to come on. And we've had over 100 classes from real estate to stocks to investing to you name it. And then also with EYL University, we do a monthly financial planning call. We have a private Facebook group with 6,000 people, which is a community within itself with subgroups inside of that community.
Bunch of clubs.
It's like a real university.
Accountability groups.
The problem with universities is that it's not, the system isn't the problem. It's the way it's going about and the information that's taught. So we duplicated what universities have. Like we have infinity groups inside of the university. We have classes. We have professors that come in. We have a book club. We have a movie club. We have challenges. We have game night.
Game night was last week. Yeah,
that's a fact. The same thing that a university would have. We took that because the university is not the problem. It's the price that's the problem and the information that they're teaching. So we're teaching real world solutions. We're not teaching philosophy. But our university is $600 a year. That's the difference.
Huge difference.
Yeah. So if you're interested in joining, you can click the link, EYLUniversity.com, 70% off. Yeah. That price changes on Friday. Okay.
Yeah,
So
no student loan debt involved. And if there was, we just hit up one of our professors. Shout out to Sonia Lewis.
That's a fact. That's a fact. So let's get into this part. We can take a couple of questions and see what people have to ask.
Professor Wright, you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go to Tristan. Tristan, unmute yourself. You've been unmuted. What's going on?
You guys can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you perfectly.
Hey, just want to start off. I appreciate y'all so much. Truly, man. Troy, Rashad, Alexia. It's a godsend. Truly. Dead ass. No cap.
No cap.
Appreciate you, brother.
All right. So I'm from Miami and I peeped the last video that Alexia did, so I got a couple of questions because it seems like for this Airbnb process, Florida really puts you through the ringer. So they want you to get a FEIN, they want you to get a certificate of use, they want you to get an operation license to operate a vacation rental. So I just kind of want to know how you went about doing that and how your clients go about obtaining those credentials. And then just one more thing, I know guidelines, but I'll get this chance every day. So I know that, like, because I went to buildings already to try and ask them, like, yo, are you guys cool with subleasing? A lot of them would be like, nah, we ain't really about that. But the thing is, you'll turn around, you go on Airbnb, you see a couple of those same buildings have about 4 or 5 rooms up in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I don't say nothing because I don't want to jam anyone's game up. So I don't say anything. But I don't know if you can give like maybe one freebie, because I know you mentioned Miami a couple of times, and I've been doing my research, but it's been tough. So that's about it. Thank you.
Yeah, Trishan. Hey, so the thing with those credentials and getting those permits and stuff from the city, there's links that's on Google, and I could like easily put the links in my bio or something. I could find them and put them in my bio, and you could just go to it. So a lot of people ask about Miami, and it's a matter of getting that stuff done, filling out those applications and getting them done. So most of, and it's not, I haven't really seen it in Miami, but I know West Palm Beach does require you to have like a registration number, have your listing actually registered. And the thing with that is, what they are trying to do is they're trying to just get a piece of the Airbnb pie. So I told you guys before, Airbnb took $450 million worth of revenue from hotels, and hotels pay taxes to the government. They have all these fees when you get ready to check out. They have an occupancy fee, remitting fee, they have a permit fee, they got all kind of fees. And guests on Airbnb, they don't pay all those fees. So now the reason why people are coming up, different cities are coming up with these different rules and to get these permits is because the government's not really getting paid. They're not really taking anything from Airbnb hosts like they're taking from hotels. So hotels are getting pissed. They're like, then they take all of our money and they're not having to pay the same things we're having to pay. So I literally have people who, my brother, he sits at the city council office and he'll come back and tell me. So I just had a meet and greet, right? February 21st. And I had the former mayor of Atlanta at my meet and greet to tell people about the different rules and permits for Atlanta specifically. So I say that to say, when it comes to getting those permits, it's really not a big deal. It's about filling out those applications and getting your registration number. All right. When it comes to subleasing in Miami, some apartment buildings allow it, some don't. The reason why you still see it is because people, basically they book the system and they're like, it can still be done. When you do it that way, it's all about how you manage it. It's about how you run it. I have a few properties that are like that as well, to where it's subleasing, but I've been in the buildings for over, 2 or 3 years, so they don't bother me. Right. And I'm not saying that's the way to go, but to answer your question, that's what's happening. It's the way they're doing it. Maybe they don't go by the leasing office when they check in guests. Maybe they go through the garage. And a lot of times, sometimes leasing offices will send you a lease violation because it might not be in your lease to do Airbnb. But the way I look at it as an Airbnb host, Trishan, if it's being done and you see multiple apartments on Airbnb from this same apartment building, then most likely the building is pretty lenient. There's a lot of buildings like that in Atlanta that some apartments allow subleasing, some don't. The places that don't, the people are still at, where it's a ton of Airbnbs, the building knows it's Airbnb, but it's almost like, number one, stay out the mix, make sure that you're screening properly so you're not getting any leasing office complaints. Making sure that your guests are checked in properly and they know to communicate with Tristan if they need anything, not going to the leasing office. And with those buildings that I'm in, they pretty much know me. I still go by and show my face, but I pay my rent on time. Sometimes I go pay my rent early so they don't bother me. Sometimes I might be feeling good on a Friday and I might take the whole entire leasing office Cheesecake Factory. The holidays roll around, I might give everybody in the leasing office a $50 gas card. You see what I mean? So just a little nuggets on how I've been able to maintain my subleasing properties. That's how. So staying out the mix, staying low, making sure your guests are, they know what they're doing, making sure you screen properly so that these guests are not, having parties and having noise complaints, and you're not even there to answer the noise complaints when they come knock on the door or something.
Perfect.
That was-
Perfect.
that
That's a
was-
lot.
Yeah.
Appreciate your question, Tristan.
He definitely snuck 2 questions in.
Definitely. I didn't even hit the
Mm.
guideline button. Kim, we are coming to you. Unmute yourself. You've been unmuted. What's going on, Kim? Oh, Kim, don't do that. Don't do that. All right. Well, she hit the fridge break.
Fridge break.
We hit the fridge break.
Fridge
Let's
break.
see this. Let's see this. Angel, we coming to you.
I'm
Unmute
sorry,
yourself.
I was on
Oh,
mute.
Kim, I knew it. I knew it wasn't the fridge.
Hello?
It was
I'm
Angel.
sorry. Was I unmuted the whole time?
Nah.
Angel, hold on 1 minute, bro.
We're gonna come right back to you, Angel. I'm gonna mute you for a sec. I'm gonna let Kim go. All right, bro?
Okay, sounds good, bro. Thanks.
How you doing?
Good.
We're good, Kim. How you?
How are you?
Right. I didn't have a question. I didn't realize that my hand hit the muted. I mean,
Okay.
the unmute. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
No problem. We
It's
still
all
love
good.
Yeah,
you.
I know a little bit about Airbnb. I was listening to what she was saying. I know the last time, I think it was little over a month ago, Noelle Randall was on EYL. And she was
No. Nope.
And she was talking about B&B. So I remember some of the information, but she also shared some great information as well, too. And I would like to thank her as well, too.
Well, you're welcome. Absolutely.
Shout out to her.
Great information.
Shout out to her.
Thank you.
I'm just not
not
sure.
familiar with who that is, but
Angel.
Angel, we coming to you. Unmute yourself. You've been unmuted, my man.
How you doing, fellas?
We good, man. How you?
Good. I really appreciate all the info. Question for the host here. I own an apartment building in Little Havana. That's a submarket in Miami, a couple of blocks away from the corridor that is well known for attracting lots of tourists. There's lots of bars, lots of things to do, and I'll say I'm within a 5-minute walk. My apartment building, there's 16 units, and what I've been considering is maybe Airbnb 20% of it, just to give it a shot, and leaving the remainder traditional to make sure that I can pay for the debt service. And anything above and beyond that is just a cherry on top. So my first question is, have you ever helped someone in my position? And just a second question really quick, what is a typical expense that a Airbnb, that a person that runs an Airbnb usually misses?
All right, so let's go to your first question. So you have 16 apartments in one building, right?
It's actually 8 units, 2 buildings that are adjacent.
Okay, and you want to know how to go. So you're saying you want to Airbnb 20% just to see how it goes.
Exactly. And then, as far as owning an apartment building, can I list, let's just say I wanted to list half of the property. Can I list the building itself, or do I have to list individual units?
Okay, this is fun. So what I would do is, because I'm actually working on a 50 residential unit here in Atlanta. So what I would do is, Angel, because you really don't know, it's not about listing the building. What you can do is you can list your actual, so you need to get furnished. So the apartments are vacant, right?
Well, actually, they're traditionally leased now because I'm about to refi. As soon as I refi, it's going to give me the opportunity to go ahead and test the market. I just can't do that now because I need the leases to be in place to refi. But as soon as I do, I want to go ahead and see if this can work out for me to make some extra money.
Everybody's getting kicked out once the money comes in.
So no, what I want to know is the apartments that you're wanting to put up on Airbnb, they're vacant, right?
Right now, they're not.
But they will be.
Yes.
So once they get vacant, you need to make sure you get furnished. All right. You need to make sure they get furnished, and you need to get your photos done. So what I would do is probably you could try it with 2 units. Where is it located in Miami? Like where?
Little Havana.
In the Little Havana submarket. Exactly.
I've never heard of that part of where is that in Luton? Maybe South Beach. Like how far is it from South Beach?
Like 15 minutes away, right?
Yeah, and it's like a tourist trap. Like
okay, so that's perfect. That's all that matters then. So I would probably get you 2 units furnished and get those photos taken. You don't even have to list the outside of the building at all. Get the photos taken and list it on Airbnb. The same way that I just explained, and just test it to see how it goes. And I'm pretty sure you're going to be satisfied. But once you get ready to do it, feel free to shoot me a DM and we could walk through that process. That's easy.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and congrats on owning the buildings, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Havana,
Thank you, man.
we gotta stop
We gotta
by
stop by
there.
there, man.
I like Little Havana a lot, man.
I'm
Angel.
actually coming down there too. April 12th or something. So maybe I could stop by to take a look at them.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be
I would
down.
love that.
What are you going to Miami for?
Big business boot camp.
Okay.
Business boot camp.
Oh, it's on the 12th?
I think it's on the 12th.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
Angel's
send you a DM. I appreciate it.
All right, absolutely.
Angel's a shrewd. He's a shark out here in these streets.
Is it vacant? No, but it will be.
It will be.
Don't let that go over your head.
It
Right.
will be. It will be.
Tasha, we coming to you. Unmute yourself. You've been unmuted. Shout out to everybody inside of Angel's building with prayers up. Tasha, what's up? Oh, no fridge break, Tasha. Don't do that, please.
Y'all is silly.
All right, well, Tosh, have a good night. Noemi, we coming to you. What's going on? Unmute yourself. You've been unmuted. Noemi, you there? I know you there.
Hi.
You wouldn't do us like that.
Never. Hey guys, how are you? What a blessing to be on with Alexia. Thank you so much for all the knowledge that you're giving us. I'm currently hopping on into an Airbnb, God willing, within the next 2 weeks. We just got a house and furnished it all up. We're just adding another bathroom so it could be comfortable.
Okay.
So the question is, they give suggested prices. Should we go with that? That Airbnb provides? And then I'm going to seek another question in. Do you add your websites to your listings?
What websites?
Like, do you have like your personal websites that people can just like go and book?
No, you can't do that. You can't do that, right?
You can?
You can only do that if you have like your own platform. So like if I was to make Alexia Wright listings.com, it would typically be the same as Airbnb.com. But the only way to do that is Airbnb does have it to where if you have multiple listings, or even if you have one listing, you can share your profile, your link to your profile, your Airbnb profile, and then people can see your all of your listings up under their profile. But there's no like website like noemidoesit.com with all of your listings. No, there's not a website. It's just Airbnb.com.
Got it. Okay. And then as far as the suggested prices that Airbnb gives, should we go by those recommended prices?
So the thing with those prices is sometimes they could be really, really low, way too low.
Okay,
If you do not go with those prices, it doesn't mean that you won't appear in the algorithm. I don't really use those prices, honestly. Sometimes if you even do the numbers on it, it won't even allow you to make rent. So sometimes it's just a system that they have. It's called smart pricing. And it's almost like, so with hotels have their own pricing system. I'm not really sure what it's called. I'm pretty sure they all have different pricing systems. But like when there's a game in town, right, the prices are skyrocketed. So the on a regular weekend, this hotel might be $90 a night. But then when the football game comes or the basketball game comes and it's All-Star weekend, that same $90 hotel could go up to $1,000 a night. And those are the different pricing strategies right there. But with Airbnb, I do use smart pricing, but I set a minimum. So I'll set a minimum that I do not want to go below this price. And then you can set a maximum price. You don't want to go above this price.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Congratulations too.
Thanks.
Let's go to Brittany. Brittany, we are coming to you. Brittany, unmute yourself. You have been unmuted. Where'd you go, Brittany? Oh, there you go. Brittany, what's going on? You're unmuted, but I think you might not have unmuted yourself.
Brittany, you there? Well, guess not.
Damn, Brittany. Love is love. All right. Let's move. Michael, we coming to you. Michael, unmute yourself. You've been unmuted.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
What's going on? How you?
Going on?
I'm all right. How you doing, Alexia?
Hey, Michael, how are you?
I'm all right. I wanted to know what type of requirements or what is your process of looking for the cleaning company or the people who's going to be cleaning your properties?
So for me, I have my own housekeeping team. So I have my own housekeepers, right? But starting off as a host, you can go to a website. It's called turnoverbnb.com. It's TURNOVER, B as in boy, N as in Nancy, B as in boy.com. Very simple way to find a housekeeper. So what you would do is you would export your Airbnb calendar to TurnoverBNB. And as soon as you get a booking, that checkout date goes to TurnoverBNB. And what housekeepers will do is they'll put in bids to clean your place. So you're gonna get hits like this. Like there's gonna be like 50 housekeepers hit you up. Like, hey, hey Mikhail, I can clean your place for $100. Hey, I can clean your place for $85. Hey, I can clean it for $60. It's called TurnoverBNB. All right, so like turnoverbnb.com. Very good way to find housekeepers, and it's national. So, and then you can also go on Facebook too. There's a bunch of different Facebook groups that you can find housekeepers in your area, but I find TurnoverBNB to be the most efficient. And the thing with that is you want to make sure that you try to build a relationship so that you're not having to explain your cleaning process or your systems to 5 different people throughout the week. You want to just try to, maybe find 2 and work your way and just try to stick with one of those 2. Or if one might not be available, you can hop to the other one. But the goal there is to build a relationship with those housekeepers on TurnoverBNB, so they could be your personal housekeeper. That way, it'll get to the point where you guys might not even use TurnoverBNB anymore.
And do you set a pay rate from the door, or how do you work that out?
You can negotiate. So like I said, you got to make sure that you have a cleaning price set within competition of your other listings in the area for wherever your property is. So you don't want to be at $100 a night and then everybody else is at $70. So you want to make sure that you are setting the right cleaning fee. Now, sometimes some cleaners will give you a lower bid than what you actually charge, and you can just make a cap off housekeeping. But for me, unfortunately, my boyfriend runs the housekeeping company, so he knows what units are being cleaned, so I can't make anything off him.
Yeah, you have it.
But I used to cap like $30 per reservation.
Yeah, you have it. Gotta watch every dollar.
Appreciate you, Michael.
Gotta watch every dollar these days.
Lexi, when you're looking for a listing, is there a specific rate of return that you like to see, or you like to put in place before you make that a new site for you?
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, absolutely not. Like, I'm so tuned into the business that I know it's gonna work. Troy, I don't even do numbers anymore. I list. The only numbers I crunch is furniture. I make sure that furniture doesn't go above a certain budget, which for a 1-bed, 1-bath is typically around $4,500. So as long as I don't go above that, then we're good to go. But other than that, I honestly don't. I don't look for rates of returns. But the thing that I tell people is that's the one of the biggest questions that I get from my clients is what can I expect to see? And honestly, guys, due to COVID, so in 2017, I was able to tell you to project what was going to happen in 2018. In 2018, I was able to project what would happen in 2019. But oh hell, when 2020 came, everything changed. So I'm still figuring out numbers. If I compare my numbers from June 2020 to June 2019, they're totally different. So 17, 18, 19 were all the same, and 20 was totally different. So like I said, I like to work off experience. And if I don't know something, then I don't tell it to anybody else. So I said it to say, with the pricing, I'm still with the return on the investment, I'm still figuring that margin out.
Gotcha.
But I also want to say, the longer that you're on the platform, the more money that you make. So don't look at it as you might profit $300-400 a month in your first 3 or 4 months, but that's because your pricing is low because you don't have many reviews. So you're not supposed to be making the same amount that you make in the first month in your 12th month. It's not supposed to be the same. So you're going to start off making little profits, and then once you work your way up to getting more and more reviews, you can charge more per night, and you can profit more the longer that you're on the platform. So you got to stick it out.
Yeah, you have it. It wouldn't be a YouTube if somebody didn't make the same comment over and over again. Yes, the Dak Prescott comparison.
Oh my gosh, again?
It's getting tired.
Yo, I thought that was Dak, yo. No, I don't know Dak, and I'm not sitting next to him.
Got it. I got it. Noted. Duly noted.
Okay,
Duly
we got it out the way. All right, Samuel, you've been unmuted. Unmute yourself. My fault.
How you doing, guys? Thank you for picking me. I really appreciate it. through everything that you guys been doing.
Said Dak.
I mean, you got me. Yeah, you got
Samuel, you got this is some background noise.
It's like a horror movie in the background.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
around my nieces and nephews.
I didn't know what was going on. I just heard screaming. I didn't know it was an infant. God blessings.
So I
didn't know. I just heard screaming. I didn't know what was going on.
Baby, man.
So it's like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, they watching some video games on YouTube right now. So.
Yeah, I know how it is, man. This guy's crazy. Yeah, man, what's your question?
So I recently just purchased like a 3-family home, and the tenants, haven't been paying or whatever. So we decided to rent out our floor for Airbnb. So like the main space or whatever, right? So the one thing I had ran into was like people who would say that they will have like 2 or 3 guests, but then have like 30 guests and have like a whole party. So like, what do you do with that?
Pull up and knock on the door.
Pull up on them.
Pull up.
I do. There's a video on my page, actually, on my highlights up under property management, and the way. So I have Ring cameras on some of my properties, right? And the thing that I like to tell my guests is, be transparent with me. If you're gonna have a few friends over, that's fine. Just keep your noise level low. So I don't make it to where like, hey, don't bring more than 5 people in the unit. I don't do that. I want you to have a good time. I want you to be able to enjoy yourself, but let's also act like adults. So let's keep the noise level low, and don't play loud music. But the thing about that is I actually do, due to my screening, guys, the screening process that I told you guys, I actually get pretty good guests. I really rarely run into party problems or extra guest problems. So not too long ago, I had some guests that stayed, and they were like it was going to be 2 people. And it was my Ring camera. It'll come up on your phone immediately. It'll say this many people walk past your camera, and it'll count exactly how many bodies walk past your camera. So the thing, what guests started doing was they'll try to get right by the door and they'll slide by like this. So this particular guest that I pulled up on, that's what they were doing. And with the Ring camera, you can see the whole entire, so if I'm standing, if I'm the camera, I can see like exactly right beside the cameras, right? So they're like, I'm looking at the camera because I just kept getting Ring notifications. And once I keep getting it, then I know multiple people are walking past the door. So they're going like this. So I'm just watching them. And with the counter Ring camera I got, I can speak to them through the camera. So I'm like, I can see you. So the thing with this is the way that I've gotten so comfortable with this business to where, like, just don't even play with me almost. You know what I mean? Like, it's unnecessary. I'm such a cool host, and I let my guests do their thing. Like, I don't bother them. Y'all want to have wine? Y'all want to have bottles? Maybe invite a few friends over. It's cool. Just don't get outrageous, right? So at this point in time, I'm like, I can see you. So they're like, still trying to slide by the camera, and everybody just vanished, like everybody just moves away. So I see more people coming through, so I was like, okay, cool. So y'all want to play with me? Like, all right, cool. So personally, me, y'all, I really, some people call it a security thing, but I'll pull up with my gun on my hip and I'll knock on the door. Like, you in my personal space. You at my apartment.
That's the difference.
That's Atlanta.
I said she's showing up with the cleaning crew, the real cleaning crew.
That would be Atlanta. Don't let that go over your head, man. She said, I will pull up with my gun on my waist.
We ain't playing.
Yeah, so no, seriously, like people will say, oh, you're a woman and you're a girl, but honestly, I've never had a problem with pulling up to any of my units, because it's almost like for me to pull up, for me to have to get out of my bed or stop what I'm doing to come here, then we have a problem. So that particular unit, it had 14 people, and she's like, it's only going to be 2, and you still got people sneaking by the camera. So yeah, I'm on the way. Yep. And when I got there, she's like, oh, I just got the shower. I'm like, bro, I just seen people walk in here.
You put the ice cube. Do we got a problem?
Like, I see 15 people. She was like, it's just a few of my friends, but I'm like, but what? So I explained it to her, right? I was very transparent. I let her know straight up. So look, I'm not that kind of host. And sometimes people will get the wrong interpretation of my profile, and they'll think I'm this, Caucasian corporate guy. And they'll think that I'm not a young Black woman. They'll look at me totally different from the way my profile is ran and how many listings I have. So when they actually see me, they're like, oh, you're the person behind it. It's a whole nother story. I shouldn't have to show my face for you to respect my business. So when I pulled up to her, I let her know, like, hey, like, I'm not that kind of host. You guys are cool. You guys don't have to sneak by the camera. If you want to have 14 people and you guys keep it down, I don't have a problem with that. If she would have said, hey, Alexia, I got 8, 9 people, you know, pulling up. We just gonna have a few drinks and we just gonna, you know what I'm saying, chop it up and just watch a little TV and do this. I would have been like, okay, cool. I appreciate you for even letting me know that, because some guests will not even let you know and they'll try to do it on the slide, end up throwing a big ass party or something. You know what I'm saying? So I had to let her know, like, just as a host, this is unnecessary. I'm okay with your guests being here. They don't have to sneak by the camera. So because she wasn't answering my phone call, I had to just pull up on her and let her know, you know, you can abide by my rules or you can leave.
Yeah. Are you able to charge like per person at that point, or how's that work?
You can, but honestly, guys, I pick my battles in this business, and I'm just not one of those petty hosts. But you can charge per guest. You can charge $15 per guest. I've seen hosts charge $25 per guest. You can charge whatever amount, but in order for you to be able to charge, you have to have that already listed on your profile. So Airbnb has this feature to where you can list. It's an extra guest fee. So if you want to charge $10 per guest, that you can't wait until you got 20 people in to try to go charge $10. That already has to be listed on there. And it already has to say that this is how many people you can, you know, this is how many people belong in the unit. And after this amount of people, then I'll charge you this.
No, that's a fact. We're gonna go to a couple more questions, but before then, I want to give you an opportunity to talk about your course, because like I said, there's no college for this stuff. And as really think about it, that's really like an eye-opening situation, because it's like, yeah, how do you learn all this stuff? So, you know, as an entrepreneur, and the reason why I like Alexia is that she's real. Like, she's giving you the good, bad, and the ugly. She's not sugarcoating. A lot of people would just be like, yeah, I just made $1 million and it's all good. Nothing is ever all good in business. And the best way to learn from somebody is somebody that actually has experienced it, and actually the good, the bad, turbulence, running up on somebody, get the strap, all of that. That's all part of it.
That's
like,
part
you know
of
what I'm saying?
game.
So talk about like your educational component that you put together.
Yeah, absolutely. So honestly, I've been working on my course for a while, for a minute. And when I was working on it, it was like COVID had came. I started working on my course last year, to the top of 2020. When I did my episode in January, I was working on my course then. And COVID hit and I just kind of got discouraged a little bit, honestly. So I kind of slacked up off of it. And then it picked back up really heavy. And I started back on the course. So I've been working on it for a while. And literally, guys, everything I know, everything that I'm telling you guys here, it goes into detail in my course. It's extremely informational. It has a ton of resources. I'm going to do the Facebook live group. So I'm just getting into the ins and outs of having a course. But my thing is, I know my information and I'm able to tell that to a camera and tell that to people. So the marketing side, I haven't really got into. I really don't want to tap into the marketing side. That's just honest. But with the Facebook group and it'll be a monthly subscription. You got 60 days access to the course, and then there'll be a monthly subscription for $199. So I'll hop on a Zoom call twice a month with my course students for us to be able to talk about the process. And the reason why I wanted to do that is because I didn't want to just put these videos out and leave my students just dry. You know, they have questions. They're like, what do I do next? I'm like, I want to be able to assist them until they're able to become superhost. Once you're a host, it takes you 90 days to become a superhost. There's a 90-day assessment. So I'm like, I want my students to become superhosts, and I want to know what their progress is. Personally, I want to know. I don't want a course manager. I don't want nobody to run nothing. I want to know exactly what they're doing. I'm just a personal person. You know what I mean? So I spend a lot of time on the course. It has a lot of great information. It has PDFs, has a sample master leasing contract in it. And it pretty much gives you step by step, from step 1 to actually getting a booking. It talks about the algorithm. It talks about different automated systems I use. It talks about housekeeping. Housekeeping has its own portion. And literally in the housekeeping piece, I'm actually in one of my units with my housekeepers. So it's a hands-on housekeeping segment in there. It talks about photography, getting a real estate photographer. So it has a lot of great information inside of it. Pretty much everything that I talked about here, just in detail.
No, that's a fact. So, all right. And then also, you was gracious enough to give us a special discount for anybody that's watching this, additional $250 off. So the website is masteringbnb.com. EYL.com. That's the only place, to my understanding, that's actually available for that. So we appreciate you for that. I'll put that in the chat as well. But mastering BNB, EYL.com. And once again, me personally, I don't do anything unless I'm fully prepared. So I wouldn't jump in any course, any business unless I actually had prepared myself. And courses is one way of doing it. Like I said, it's like no other business. If you want to be a marketing person, you probably want to go to school, at least get a degree in marketing, so that's how I look at online courses. And when Mark Cuban said that he pays for courses and he takes online educational platforms, he told us that out of his own mouth. He's a billionaire. He's already up $4 billion. So that says a lot right there.
I want to know everybody's mistakes before I start.
I want to know everything.
I want to know your mistakes so I don't have to make them, right? So you're fast forwarding my progress because you've already made them for us. And so people got to start looking at it like that, right? Like you're not going to have to make mistakes on your own because you have a blueprint of somebody's actual real life experience mistakes, and now you're expediting your performance. So
shout out to Wall Street Trapper. I just I got my sister his stock course.
Yeah,
I paid for it because she wants to know about stocks, and I didn't really have time to really sit down and give her the ins and outs. But I know he put together a great curriculum, so I got her his course. Trap, you owe me for that, bro. I just gave you a plug. Now that's the bro, man. Let's get to a couple more questions before we wrap.
Jarrell, what's going on? Unmute yourself. You've been unmuted. Jarrell Hardy. Jarrell was a top earner. Shout out to Jarrell. Jarrell, what's going on? Oh, no, he did me like that. See? There you go.
What's good, bro?
Yeah, he's unmuted, but he ain't unmuted.
Hello?
Oh, there you go, Jarrell. What's going on?
Hey, nothing much. How y'all doing?
Good. How you going?
Good, man. Good. So, yeah, I had a simple question. I want to know, like, what's the difference between the single family and the apartments? Like, is there, like, pros and cons to the difference, to apartments, Airbnbs, or single families? So I just wanted to know which is better.
Yeah. So I don't think one is better than the other. They both serve different purposes. So a family wouldn't come stay in a one bed, one bath condo, right? And you do get families that travel. Versus you have people who travel for business. Those people who travel for business who might be, those single guys that might come with maybe one or two people, they also won't go stay at a home. So the thing that I would say about single family homes is, number one, they're seasonal. People, it has this like down season, like when school gets back in. But the thing about that is due to COVID, a lot of kids, they're in virtual learning. So families are traveling more often. I don't think one is better than the other. You just got to think about what purpose you want to serve. Do you want to go bigger? When it comes to getting a single family home, you have to think about the expenses. So you're going to look at more startup capital than going into an apartment. So that's it.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Does that make sense? Did I answer your question? It was kind of short.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely.
Makes sense to me.
Appreciate you. Let's go to, we got Tiffany. Let's go to Tiffany. Tiffany, unmute yourself. You've been unmuted. What's going on?
Hey, y'all. Doing well. How are you?
Oh,
Good.
Tiffany.
How's it going?
I love the energy already.
Thank you. Okay. So, I'm kind of following up on the question that he just asked. And thank you, Alexia, for this time. It's great information. I have like a page and a half of notes already.
Absolutely.
So I was thinking about what you said about it being seasonal. So right now, my siblings and I have kept our family property from our childhood home. So our parents have passed away and we decided to keep the property. We are in a, currently, let me say this, we're renting out the home to a family, but we're looking at wanting to do an Airbnb. And I thought about what you said about it being seasonal because we're actually near Clemson University. So our thought is to do things centered around football games.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm thinking about the seasonal. Is that really a good idea? Or should we just stick to renting and we know every month we'll have income?
So something you have to think about, Tiffany, is what approach do you want to take? So you're already questioning, do I want to just stick with a long-term rental or do I want to take the risk of going to short-term? So you were saying that you guys had your family home, right? And then you said we were thinking about getting an Airbnb. Were you turning that family home into the Airbnb? Is that what you were doing?
We would like to turn the family home into an Airbnb so we could take the renters out. But again, I'm thinking about the seasonal thing as far as the football season only being from, what's that, maybe August, September to maybe December. And then what would we do?
Okay, so let me ask you this. Around that area, how is the tourism when it's not football season?
Honestly, it's pretty dead.
It's dead?
Yeah.
So is the family house paid off?
It is.
So everything is on profit. So the thing is, what you can do is you can eat during football season.
Right.
Football season, and it can account for down season. So basically, the reason why I asked you if it's already paid off is because really everything will be all profit. It's not like you have to make a mortgage or a rent every month.
Correct.
How many siblings do you have?
It's 5 of us, so yeah, we're in it pretty deep. It's 6 of us total, including myself.
Yeah. So how big is the house? How many bedrooms? How many baths?
It's actually 3 bedrooms, 1.5 baths.
All right, so I don't really know. I can't really speak of pricing because I don't really know the area. But during football time, you could really people will pay anything, especially Clemson, because I know it's a really lit college and have a really great football team. So I know those fans and those those parents, they'll pay whatever, just to come. My brother plays for University of South Florida, and we have stayed in some my parents have stayed in some really dingy Airbnbs I'll never stay at, and they'll pay $500 a night, but it's you get those colleges like Clemson where people will pay to stay. So on average, let's just say this particular house went for $350 a night. And I know we could go for that around Clemson. You might even do $400 a night. So even if you did 400 times 20, right? And I say 20 because you might not can account for those. You can account for those 10 vacant days. That's not football season, right? Okay. That's not football season. That's not where people are not staying in them. So let's just say we had 10 vacant days. You already had $8,000 during football season. So even if we was to keep it on average, even 6,500, all profit is still not bad. And it's 5 siblings. So if football season lasts for how long does it last? Like 4 or 5 months?
Yeah, September, October, November. Yeah, about 4 or 5 months.
It's $32,000 in half of a year. You should be able to sustain on off season until football season comes back up again, if you do the right thing.
But wait a minute. How did you figure up $32,000?
No, so I said that because what I did was I just did, I think I did 400 times 20. And that was, I said, if we say 8 and we take out certain little bills that you may have to pay, or even if it's not rented at that much a night, even I say the minimum that you can make in a month around Clemson or football season is at least $6,500 to $6,000. Okay. So that's the minimum a month. Okay. For Clemson, that's a really great school. They have a really great football team. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those football fans pay. Mm-hmm. Super Bowl tickets were $40,000. So I know they'll pay to see Clemson.
Right. And what we did this year, and which is why we decided to just do the rental, is because of COVID. Kind of like you're saying, we didn't, the attendance dropped a lot as far as like how many they were allowing into the stadium. I think it went from like 80,000 to maybe 19,000 or something.
So that even makes it better. You got, even though there's less people, there's going to be more of a demand to come because they're not letting many people in. People want to come, they're just not letting people come.
Okay. Because and then the rest of the time we just use it as a family home, like, because it's pretty much what we were doing anyway, and then just wait for the next season and then just amp up again, basically.
That's what you want to do, yeah.
Yeah, it's no downside. Yeah, no downside. You already own the home outright. You're in the number 1 football team in the country, depending on the year.
Yeah. Well, this year they lost in the national championship.
They made it to the national championship. And
And
last year they won a championship, right?
2 years ago.
2 years ago they won.
Yeah. Wow. And they got the number 1 player in the country. So. Yeah. Spring football. I mean, hey, there's always spring football, Tiffany. So don't forget that too, because people.
Yeah, spring game is actually Saturday.
People come down for that too, so don't forget that. So that's another week in the year, or at least a couple of weeks that you can have, right? So
don't forget college students when it's not during that time. A college
exactly.
Yeah, I see somebody put that in the chat.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, appreciate you, Tiffany.
Appreciate you.
Thank y'all so much. I appreciate it.
No problem.
No problem. Thank you.
Yeah, Clemson got beat down by Ohio State, and then Ohio State lost to Alabama.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, they're one of the top teams every year.
Fact. We taking one more? What we doing?
Yeah, let's get like two more.
Isaiah, we coming to you. Unmute yourself. You've been unmuted. What's going on, Isaiah?
Nope.
Oh, damn, Isaiah.
You can hear me now, right?
Yeah, we got you now. What's going on?
All right, cool. Just got in time. Appreciate y'all. I just had a quick question. I'm moving to Miami soon. Apparently that's the theme of the night.
That is, man. What part? What part?
I'm not sure yet. I'm planning on doing the Airbnb thing, and
everybody's moving to Miami.
I actually am considered getting a place in Miami myself.
Hey, that's where the weather's at.
Yeah, man. We enjoy ourselves out there. Shout out to everybody in Brickell.
Yeah. But I wanted to know, as someone looking to get into Airbnb, do you think it would be better, Alexia, to rent out a whole apartment, or to just get like a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom and rent out the other 2 rooms or the other room? And should I mention Airbnb at all, like when getting the lease or not?
It would just depend on where you go to in Miami. Some places do allow, they're okay with it. Some places are not. Some places you can still do it and you don't have to tell them in the whole building. Like I know Icon Brickell is all Airbnb. So you don't have to mention it to them. It's all about your approach and where you actually, get your lease at. And then with doing the per room, I don't think Miami's a vibe for that. People they typically come as a group anyway. So they would probably want a whole entire apartment. That's not really a place where people want to rent different rooms. Like that'll be a mess in Miami. So I wouldn't do it that way down there. I would just do a whole entire apartment and rent out the whole apartment. They'll pay down there.
All right, cool. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
That's a fact.
Thank you, Isaiah.
Yeah, Miami, everybody's
Icon.
Miami. It's a lot of good things happening in Miami right now. A lot of creatives, a lot of business, a lot of entrepreneurs.
A lot of good weather.
There's a lot of good weather.
A lot of good everything in Miami, man. Shout out to the great state of Florida.
Clarence, we coming to you. Unmute yourself. You've been unmuted. What's going on?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Everything's good. How are you?
I'm good. So I am a super host. I've been doing Airbnb for 3 years. And shout out to Troy and Rashad. They actually stayed in my place when they came to DC.
Oh, that's crazy. No,
that was fly too.
That's crazy.
It was fly.
This is a moment.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
That's so crazy because no. We gotta address this situation. That's so crazy because we in DC, and this is the power of network. You never know. So we in DC over a year ago, and we was doing an event at the Wizards Arena.
Mhm.
So while we was in DC, we lined up a few interviews, and we stayed at this Airbnb, and the Airbnb was dope. It was really, really nice Airbnb. And we Wade the Barber, B-Rule, and Kezia, like back to back. And it just so happened that Wade the Barber, well, you tell the story after this point.
But Wade the Barber, he cuts my hair. So, and then I actually saw.
You saw the episode. And it was like, that's my.
Yeah, I saw it in his story on Instagram, and I was like, that looked like my house. I was like, that's my house. Yeah. So yeah, shout out to you guys. You guys are welcome back anytime. Y'all were perfect guests.
I appreciate that, man. And your Airbnb was immaculate also. So I encourage anybody, if they're looking for an Airbnb in DC, in the DC area, check them out. I don't know how you put your information in, but check his. It's official.
The call was on point. Everything was on point.
I asked a real estate agent, like, yo, how much this house costs? Like, I'm like, yo, this is dope. Like, this is dope. So yeah, man, shout out to you, man. You did a great job with your Airbnb, bro. But what's your question?
Thank you. So question for you, Alexia. So how do you deal with charges or damages that the host guarantee won't cover? Because I had a guest stay in my house for a month, and I found out that he was charging his Tesla in my garage, and Airbnb wouldn't cover the extra charges for the electric bill.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
Yes.
I would be serious. All right. Okay, this is a challenge.
Hope I didn't stump you.
Number one, Clarence. That's why I'm not really too for long-term stays, right? And then number 2, do you have a camera on the house?
I had a camera on the outside, but you know, when he was backing the car into the garage, I couldn't see, you know, there's no camera inside the garage or inside the house anywhere.
So when you put in a claim with Airbnb, what did they say?
They just said it wasn't something that they could cover. I mean, they just said it's not covered. They said it's not covered by the host guarantee. That's what they said.
For something like that, honestly, Clarence, that is just, they just got over on you, the guest. So that's like that's not really like a problem that a lot of people will go through.
Yeah.
Right? That is like maybe can happen 1 out of 10 superhost. So really with that, God will get him.
I got some of my money back because he ruined my couch. They were smoking in my house, which they're not supposed to do, and there was a big burn hole in my couch.
Yeah. That's why I do not do long-term stays. I don't like doing stays longer than 2 weeks. And they'll try to grab my properties my new ones that I first list, because most properties they're not open for that long period of time. There might be 1 or 2 reservations within a 30-day period. So they'll try to grab those new properties, and I'm like, nope. So where you went wrong with that is, number 1, you should have made sure you offered a free cleaning in between that 30-day stay, because ideally what will happen is it'll still fall back on clearance as it did. So if you would have offered a free stay, your housekeeper would have known they were already smoking inside your house. That would have been 2 weeks. That's 2 weeks less. 2 weeks less. Your electricity bill would have been cut, and then you would have had 2 weeks less of cleaning. So when somebody stays that long, they basically damn near live there. You know what I mean? It's going to look like that when they actually leave. It's going to look like that. So if you send a housekeeper in between that time, I'm pretty sure they smoked in the first 2 weeks. The housekeeper would have caught that.
It didn't smell like smoke though, because I did go in there like maybe a week after they were there, and it didn't smell like smoke. So I don't know.
Yeah, Maggie offered a suggestion. She said maybe in the future, if there's a way to track your daily usage through your utility company, that might be a way to also keep tabs on how much electricity is being used.
Where were they coming in from?
Actually, they were local.
So Alexia, I thought about that. You know why I asked that question? Because they have a Tesla. So you're not just going to rent a Tesla for a month. That's not normal. So that brings me to, I wanted to ask you that. That was actually, you said that you don't rent to anybody that lives in Atlanta.
No.
It's a red flag.
That's why, Clarence. That is why, Rashad and Trey. That is why. I would have been pissed. I would have to go find him.
Well, see, I normally don't do that either, but he told me that a pipe busted at his house and they just needed somewhere to.
You know how many times I heard that?
But Alexia, tell us why you say you live in Atlanta, your Airbnb's in Atlanta, you say you're not really trying to rent to nobody that lives in Atlanta. And from my understanding, it's like, why are you staying? Why are you here? You're cheating on your wife. You're doing something that you're not supposed to be doing. Why you have an Airbnb and you live down the street? Red flag.
Big red flag.
I mean, that was hard to pass up. It was like it was a few grand.
No, it's not about that. You could have made more with a short term. Did you give a discount?
No.
How much was your unit listed at per night?
It depends. So between $200 and $300.
And what's your mortgage or your rent?
Mortgage is $2,000.
Yeah, so that is a really good reservation. But look, how much was your bill? How much of a hassle? How much of a headache did you have? Was it really worth it? You know what I mean? Like that's what I look at, and that's why I like to tell people, don't look at it. Don't make it about the money. Because I would rather have my peace than $1. And I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get it, Clarence. But those are the reasons why I don't list to Atlanta natives. And I tell people that when they get ready to book, I accept Atlanta reservations based on my discretion. The pipe busting, oh my God, I can't even tell you how many times I've heard that. I can go through my messages and find that like within 20 minutes. So yeah, I just don't do that. And then also what you can do is moving forward, being that you have a charging station at your, well, wait, did they provide their own charging or was it one already at the house?
No, they had a cord that they had a Tesla. It was like a cord that hooks up to it hooks up to the car, and then they were just able to. It was like a regular plug. They could just plug it into an outlet.
They had an adapter, yeah. So
Yep.
And the thing about that is, moving forward, you can't really say, "Do not charge your Tesla cars at my house," because once people do stuff and I don't really agree with it, I'll put it on my listing like, don't do this. So like with makeup, I'll say, do not use my white linen for your makeup. Use the black towel because I see it often. But like I said, that really doesn't happen, and they really just kind of got over on you. And I'm really sorry. I really don't have no answer for that. But my answer to that is just not accepting local reservations. I don't care how much it is.
Yeah, and you can list it too. Like you said, that's a good point too. You can list it. No Tesla charging going forward.
Yeah.
You can even say
electric,
that.
no electric charging.
I just restricted access to the garage. I don't let anybody.
That's another option.
No access to the garage.
That's another option. But yeah, shout out to Clarence, man. Your Airbnb was a very enjoyable stay for us. So
and
I'm sad to hear that happened. But
I want to see it. So send it.
I'll put the link in the. Or you want me to send it to you? You want me to put the link?
Put the link. Yeah, but put the link in the chat also.
Okay.
Appreciate you, Clarence.
Appreciate you. Put it in
for hospitality as well.
Put it in YouTube also if you can.
No worries. Come again. Come again.
I appreciate that. So yeah, man. Now that I appreciate that. So yes, once again, ladies and gentlemen, we have almost an hour and 50 minutes of education, and people have asked, like, EYL University, what's different from this in the podcast? It's like we have nobody's gonna ever get left behind. We have public school, which is free. EYL University is private school. Public school is our podcast, our YouTube, our social media, which every single day, we have not missed a day in 2 years. We've been diligent about putting out free information on every single topic under the sun. EYL University is a more custom experience where you get to ask questions, where I do financial. I don't take clients as far as being a financial planner. The only way I answer questions at this point in time is in EYL University in that 2-hour time frame. I just don't have enough capacity to actually do that. People bombard me all the time, but like, can I pick your brain and and I just can't facilitate it. MG, the mortgage guy, put together a home buyer's blueprint, which is worth the cost of admission within itself. I think my financial planning, everything is worth the cost of admission, but it's a community. It's a community. So it's not for everybody, but it's for people that, want to be part of a community, want, more of a hands-on approach. It's not a get rich quick thing. We're not promising anything, but we provide a lot of different things. We give you insight on our portfolios. We give classes on real estate. We do everything that you can possibly think of under the sun: financial planning, MG the Mortgage Guys, Home Buyers Blueprint, weekly classes, movie club, book club, access to the Facebook group, which is a community within itself, which has infinity groups inside of the Facebook group. So people have like an NFT club, there's a crypto club, there's all kinds of different clubs where people actually get together aside from us even facilitating anything. So almost every single day of the week, there's something going on with EYL University. So you go as far as the people that you're connected with. How do I know this? Because I've personally experienced it. My growth has been, nobody's self-made in this world. And the people that I'm surrounded with, my peers, have propelled me, and I've propelled them, and we propelled each other, and we work together as a group. That's why we have a group chat. And that's why we put the group chat in EYL University.
Exactly.
But that's the same thing. It's no different, So whether you are part of a community, and like I said, this is the same thing that universities do, and, institutions, fraternities, sororities, churches, hospitals, whatever. It's people that work together, and they build a community and they grow together. So no different from what we have done. Like I said, we built a university that I would say is comparable to any university, Brown, Yale, Harvard. But like I said, the only thing is our university is a fraction of the price. So if you want to join, you can go to EYLuniversity.com. We're running a promo, 70% off. And 48 hours. And that's that. Price is $600.
Yeah. And
Alexia, once again, she is one of the best people I've ever heard speak about this Airbnb. She can go on for hours. And she's has over 30 properties and with Airbnb listings. And that's not easy to do. And she has done the unthinkable because she survived COVID. You survive COVID, you can survive anything. And she survived COVID, and she's a young
25
young Black woman that's killing the game. And it just goes to show you it's inspiration, it's motivation, that there's never any limitations that can stop it. It's not like her parents were Airbnb superholders. This is a new industry. And, she put together intellectual property based off of her information, and she created a curriculum. And I'm all for entrepreneurs creating curriculum. Some people have a problem with it, but that's just because they're not thinking fully. They have no problem with any European institution going to school and paying for NYU, for any, you name it, Michigan State, anything. Yeah, you don't even think twice about it. You encourage your kids. If your kid doesn't go to college, you're looking at them crazy.
Mhm.
You can't even afford for your kid to go to college, and you still pressure them to go to college, ruining their life because they can't even afford it. And then they got $60,000 of student loan.
If they lucky.
So yeah, she put together a course to teach people about Airbnb based off her experience.
To make that tuition in less than a year.
Yeah. So we support that. We lended our platform to her, and we're grateful. We're grateful for that. And part of lending our platform for her is that she gave a discount,
Thank you guys.
especially for us. So it's the website is masteringBNBEYL.com, and that is $250 off. There's no promo code. Just go. That is the price on the website, and that is the cheapest price that you can get her program out there. Period, with a T, like City Girls. Period. So once again, we appreciate her. We're gonna be doing a lot of different things with her going forward. She's been one of our most prestigious alumni, great person, and she's killing the game. So we appreciate her. And Alexia, I'll give you the last words if you have anything that you want to say.
I just appreciate you guys. I love your audience. You guys are great. I'm so glad you guys are even, the students, you guys are EYL members. I've never seen anything like this before, especially ran by two Black men. So I'm really, really excited for you guys. Thank you guys for even providing this platform. I even learned a lot. Before I had my platform, my interview, I really didn't know much about EYL, but ever since I had my interview, I have been tuned into the different people and the knowledge that you guys provide. So I appreciate you guys and thank you.
Yeah, we saw you got a vending machine.
Oh, yeah, vending machine.
Yeah, I have 4.
Yeah.
So we have to get, like you said, you saw the trucks. We have to get EYL Airbnb
up and running.
I'm on y'all about that.
Yeah, that's happening.
That'll be great.
And I would just like to say thank you. It's been a wonderful way to end Women's Month, man. We started on Monday. Well, we started the month with Angela Yee, so shout out to her on Market Mondays. And then this week has just been incredible with the Budgetnista on Market Mondays. And then we had the wonderful Paula McCartney yesterday. If y'all didn't check out that episode, please go check out that episode. Just a powerful story. And now having you here tonight, Lexia, it's been a wonderful week. So again, thank you. And thank you to all the women. Last Wednesday, we had the Women's Initiative. So shout out to all the women that did that. It's just been an amazing month. So I hope everybody appreciated it. And anytime we get to highlight our women, we definitely will. And give them the platform to display their expertise, man. There's a lot of Black women of color that are doing amazing things. And so anytime we get to highlight that, we definitely look forward to. So thank you.
That's a fact. That's a fact, man. We highlighted 3 Black women on 3 consecutive days. Budgetnista, Paula, and now Alexia. Each different. Budgetnista is doing financial literacy. Paula owns a water distribution company, a water plant. And Alexia is killing the game at Airbnb. And this is things, we always complain about the media not showing us in the right light. But, sometimes we can't complain. Sometimes we just have to do things for ourselves. And sometimes we actually have to, speak well about the people that are doing these things.
Yeah.
And, I think we provide a platform where, sometimes you get used to things and you take it for granted.
Right.
But there's no other platform that is giving all of these entrepreneurs, all of these people a voice every single day. Every single day it's a different entrepreneur, a different investor. We've been doing this for 2 years. We introduced the world to some of your favorites consistently. So it's like, what I'm saying, at some point, it's just important to just acknowledge that. And sometimes people have comments and things of that nature, but it's cool with social media. But we just have to have a certain level of reverence for people that actually help.
Yeah,
and I think that the people that we have on the platform help, and I think that we help by having the people on the platform.
Yeah.
So once again, we're not complaining. We're not asking anybody to put us on a platform. We created our own platform, and it just so happened that our platform is the biggest business platform in the world. So that's not my opinion. That's a fact.
It says it right here. Number one. So yeah, thank y'all. It has been a wonderful month and a wonderful evening. So y'all know how this goes, man. Love is love. We will see y'all on Monday.
Yeah, Monday. And shout out to my boy Ash Cash. He got a dope episode
Tomorrow.
on EYL Network. We got our own podcast network. He got his David Banner. David Banner.
David Banner.
Tomorrow, 8:00 on EYL Network, our YouTube channel, and all podcast outlets. So check that out. But yes, we will see you guys later. Alexia, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. And peace out, everybody.
Peace.
Have a good night.
Love is love.